with Todd talking about meditation, the power of meditation to help you become more present with yourself and with others. That's our topic this month, right?
That is true.
Yes, we always have fun when we come in and talk about these things because it's near and dear to both of our hearts, right? Meditation, and we are
Yeah.
sharing some of the things that Todd actually teaches inside of his meditation for self and interpersonal healing program. So before we dive into today's topic in more detail, I want to just give you guys, for who might be new to listening to Todd's podcast here, just a little bit about him. He is a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed clinical social worker with 35 plus years experience helping couples and individuals heal themselves from crises such as trauma and infidelity. And you also help couples rekindle the passion in their relationships. And Todd, you are a firm believer in healing modalities. So that means that Todd doesn't just believe that you need to come and see him as a therapist, but he includes other things to help speed up his clients' healing, such as EMDR,
Yes.
yes, and emotional focused therapy and meditation to promote
Yes.
optimal healing and living for his patients. So you've been meditating now yourself for what, 30, 40 or plus years. So, and you've personally experienced it, how it can help your relationship, and you've seen how it helps couples in your practice, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
So
I've been meditating for a long time, but I've been probably consistent probably for the last 5 years.
yeah, I would say that for me too. So
Yeah.
both Todd and I are meditators. We've seen how it can shift our relationships with other people. And I know we'll be sharing things that we've experienced. You'll be sharing stories from people, from working with couples and individuals in your practice, and from people inside the program. But today we're really talking about becoming more present with yourself. So let's dive into really why is this important? Like, why is this important? How does and then we'll dive into meditation and some more of the specifics. But why, in the big picture of things, is it important to become more present with yourself?
There's a lot of reasons, but the first one that comes up is to experience life, right? Life is precious
Hmm.
and it's finite. At least in the lives we live now. I don't know what happens after we die or anything, but at least in
Right.
this life, whatever it is, I know it's finite. And so when I'm present, I'm experiencing what's really happening versus what many people, most of us are conditioned to do, is to very seldom be in the present. We're in the past regretting, we're in the future worrying, and when people do things like skiing and bungee jumping, not that I'm saying I'm putting them exactly together, when they're doing activities, zip lining, they are in the present. They're in the
Yeah.
moment, right?
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
just did that. You just did that.
Yes, I just did
And
that. Yeah.
you're fully in the moment, and that's great. But isn't it nice to be in the moment, not just when we're zip lining? We could be,
Yeah.
and so it's really important to experience when you're in that moment zip lining. You're experiencing life in that moment. It is
Yeah.
precious. And so we
Right.
want to live our lives like it's precious. So that's my first answer of being more present. But the second answer is that we could be more loving and helpful and caring when we're tuned into ourselves and others, and we're present and we notice people and as well as ourselves. So I think those are two really important reasons to be present.
And I would have to interject too, and that is when you're in that present moment, and I can share my own because I went ziplining. That's why we're
Right.
talking about it when I was
Right.
up in Whistler. You
Yep.
could be afraid in that moment and totally shut down. And I think, Todd,
That's
what you're
true.
really trying to say is present, like being able to, and this is what on my mind because I'm or used to be afraid to fly until I meditated.
Right.
And I got over, like, I was able to go into my mind, even when I'm zip lining or I get on a plane, and calm myself and really be in
Yes.
the moment as a point of enjoyment. And
Yes.
maybe that's helpful to people that to hear that might have had trauma that are preventing them when they're in certain situations of being in the present moment and enjoying it, because you could be
Absolutely.
afraid.
Absolutely. Even though,
So
I mean, you could be afraid and be in the moment as long as you're not shutting down, right? I mean,
yes,
you could be, I teach this in the meditation, is that having feelings isn't an impediment to being present to your experience. You're not getting caught up in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
EMDR, which is another thing I do besides meditation, is all about helping people get past their past and be in the present moment. It doesn't turn them into the zombies that don't experience any feelings, but they're not they're in the they're able to live more fully. Everything we're doing here is about living more fully, being more present, experiencing more fully, loving ourselves and others more fully. It's being more fulfilled.
and not being like in terror in those moments. And I think
Right. You could
that's
have
the
fear,
key.
but you handle it, right? You're not in terror. It's not overwhelming you. It's not taking you over. And you also might be very calm too. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying that
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
people to think that this is only about being calm, even though the byproduct is we become calmer. But it's really about being more fully engaged in life.
Yes, yes, I get it. I agree. But I mean, I think it can give you both sides of it, and that helps
Yeah.
you be more fully engaged if you can get over
Oh, yeah.
past fears with any kind of therapy, which could be EMDR, could be meditation, it could be working with someone like you one on one to get through all these past traumas. But the point here really is, you know, meditation can help us be
Oh,
more present. And
absolutely.
when you do, you can experience things in a joyful way or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So let's dive into the second question that I have here. And you say, is that one of the main obstacles that people have to becoming fully present is this constant state of wanting. And when you're able to let go of this wanting, right? And I kind of want you to describe this wanting so that people listening understand what it is that we're
Mhm.
talking about. But what happens? Like, what is this state of wanting? How does it keep us from being present? It's an obstacle. And what happens when we remove it?
We are human beings, and human beings want things. There's nothing wrong with wanting things.
Hmm.
We want to have health, we want to be successful, and because we want those things, we do certain things to get those things, hopefully.
Yeah.
Uh, However, that's different than living in a state of wanting. When we want, if you think about it, if I want something, it means I don't have it, right? So
Yep.
if I don't have it, I'm constantly living in a state of lack.
Yes. There you go. That's the key, right? The
Right,
lack.
right. And if I'm in a state of lack, I'm not fully, robustly experiencing the present moment because in my body and my mind, I'm constantly um, stressed or contracted even. I'm tight and I'm trying to get, I want something. I can't
Hmm.
just have it. It's actually possible to live a life in a state of abundance or having, and it doesn't take away people's motivation to go do the things they need to do to have it. But they don't have to
Hmm.
be living in a state of lack while they're going after what they want. So it's the state of wanting. You can feel it,
Yeah.
if there's something, oh, I want to be famous, right? There's a feeling, if you want that one, you could feel it. I could feel it even just saying it, oh, I want to have more money. Um, I want 1,000 people to be on my meditation program,
Yeah.
which they should because it's that good. But that's besides the point. There's a feeling of, oh, I want that, right? Well, that's a
Yeah.
tension, that's a stress, and that takes me out of the present. It's actually possible to let go of wanting. And this is what I teach in the meditations in one of the months of my program that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's possible to let go of the sense or state of wanting so that you're just present and you're
Yes,
there and you can be more effective in doing the things you need to do, but also attracting the things you want, because that's what happens when you are in a state of abundance.
exactly.
Your people are attracted to you. You you know you attract the love if you're looking for love. I want a lot of my clients, right? I'm working with, they're divorced, or they've been married or whatever, and they want that love again. And I help them let go of wanting, and I use meditation. And one of the women in my program right now has been telling me how she's been practicing. She got divorced. She was in this relationship with this person. It didn't work out very well. And I knew right away he just wasn't ready for the kind of relationship that she deserves. And
Mm-hmm.
so she was highly anxious, and I helped her. I tried to help her let go of it, but it was the meditation program, even though I'm doing therapy with her too. But the meditation program has been probably as much, if not more helpful than anything I'm doing with the one-on-one in
Yeah.
person. It's been that powerful for her, where she's learning to let go. She's learning, for example, one of the themes I know is forgiveness, but it's all still about being in the present moment. And here's what she's discovering. As she lets go of wanting to be in a good relationship, and she lets herself just be,
Mm-hmm.
she'll go into a coffee shop and she's not hungry. So there's something about her that's kind of shines. And so she has these guys, some of them that she wouldn't want to be with, but these guys just keep clubbing. She's like a bumblebee. She's like a flower with all these bumblebees around her.
Yeah.
They're all kind of coming around her, and a lot of it is because of this program, that she's letting go of this the state of wanting, like there's something wrong with the state she's in. We could want something, but there's nothing wrong with where you are. Just be where you are and then proceed from there. And that's what she's learning. And she's finding that she's going, wow, these people find me interesting and funny. And I said, well, that's because that's who you are. And when we let go of wanting, we discover kind of what we're left with is who we really are, our true self.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's like, I think for to maybe, explain this, there's two kinds of wanting. There's a wanting where I need,
Yes.
I have to have.
Yes. It's a
And then there's
clingy, cling.
it's like, and
It's
it's
a
like, yeah, it's like, oh, and it's a lot of
grasp.
work. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm pulling all
Yeah.
this, or there's the wanting and you just relax and okay, it's going to come to me when it's going to come to me. And knowing that it can come to me, right?
Yes.
That's the more enjoyable part of manifesting something in your life is when you can let go of the hard wanting and just enjoy every moment of it and let it flow. Like it sounds like she
I
is, and that's
love
let
that.
her, and
Yeah.
she's let it herself shine through. And so when you can do that, then that's where our whatever in here is allowed to come forward, because we're not showing up as this needy, wanty person, attracting all the bad people
Yes.
that we don't, not bad people, but the wrong people or the wrong situations or
Yeah.
working
You
too
don't
hard.
set boundaries. You don't you let a lot of single people I find I'm working with, because they want to be in a relationship so bad that they end up not letting go of the relationships that aren't going to work, and then in these bad relationships too long, which what happens? She's left wanting. It's a
Yeah,
negative spiral.
exactly.
But I like
Yeah.
what you just said, Kristen, about the soft wanting, and the soft wanting is sort of like living life in a state of grace, in a state of, it's going to happen. I want this, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not in that state of wanting. I'm in the state of being open. There's
Yeah.
this woman I heard her speak once, and she said, "The secret of life is to be grateful for what you have and for what you don't have yet." It's like, wow,
Yes.
that is great. Could you? All right, grateful for what we have. We've learned that, and it's important to be grateful. But to be grateful for what we don't have yet, that is living in a state of abundance, of having, of faith. Anyway. So
Yes, and you need all of that, no matter what. Even if you're working on yourself without meditation, it's just a better way to live, right? Without
it
the help
is.
of
And in the
meditation.
meditation program, it's a certain month where the theme is being more present. We go directly into how to meditate and let go of the state of wanting.
Yeah. And and for and I'm going to just take a moment here because we've got two more questions we're going to go through, but let's take a moment here and talk about the meditation for self and interpersonal healing. So Todd, you designed this program, which is to help, originally was to help partners um, meditate together, but it's really for partners and single people
Yes.
who want to open themselves up to more love, more depth, more joy, be less reactive. And we know that meditation really helps that, but just more harmony and love in their lives, right? So it's not, and then it's again, this program's not about changing people, it's about accessing what's already there. It's like when we let
Yes.
go of this wanting, it opens up what's really inside of us and attracts more people to us. So again, you don't have to be in a relationship for this program to work. I mean, you can become more attracted to your partner you already have, or a future partner, or whatever, when you meditate. And the other part is that your partner does not have to meditate for it to be effective. As you always say, it only takes one person to make a change for the whole relation to shift. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking you want to, make some shifts in your life for yourself, live more presently, really access the deeper part of you, this program is great. It's a $47 a month program. Inside of it,
Is that all it is?
a month,
No, I know it's
47
that.
bucks a month. I know you
Yeah.
know that. But each month you have a handpicked theme, you have a practice guide, a video, you've got 2 meditations that you take people through, and we
Every
release
month.
new
Every
every
month.
single month. We release new content, and it's all designed to give you the life that you want to have. And it's a great, for people that are in therapy, and even if you're not in therapy and
Right.
you want to just deepen, enrich your life, it's perfect for that. So
And it also, as you and I have been talking, a lot of my email list of people, because of the nature of what I do in my private practice, they've been through trauma of any kind, infidelity,
yes,
dealing with addictions, partners that have addictions, and this program helps people. This is not just a woo-woo kind of thing where we're dealing with meditation. This is meditation that will help you access, yes, like you say, your true self, but it also helps healing all that.
and the strength inside of you. So you also, we have all kinds of bonuses in there for people who are new to meditation, have trouble staying in meditation. You've got all kinds of relaxation exercises. Plus, we're coming up on March, and we're getting ready to do a mini retreat in March, which handpick a topic, and you get
Hmm.
together with the group, you meditate, they get to have access to you to ask questions,
Hmm.
all of that. So it's a really powerful program. We've got the link right down below for those of you listening who want to check it out. We suggest that you give it at least 3 to 6 months, but you
Hmm.
can
Yes.
join. And if it's not for you, you can cancel your membership, but you're going to get better benefits the longer you're in it. And if
Well, I
commit
could say that
commit to it.
we've been doing this for a while, and there hasn't been one person to cancel who's done it. The
Yes,
only people who
exactly.
cancel is when they don't do it.
But I think the other thing is that we need to remind people, like, the meditations themselves we're not talking about sitting down and meditating for hours upon hours. Now,
No,
I mean, I like to meditate for 45 minutes and then I do a quiet sit for 30, but that's
that's
because
great.
I've been doing it for a long time. But
Right?
it doesn't take that much to make a change. Like
No.
10 minutes,
Well,
15
my
minutes, 20
meditations are
minutes.
about 20,
Yeah,
21,
20
22
minutes.
the most. Yeah.
And once you commit to it, you sit down and you actually do it. And guided meditation really is the best way to meditate, right?
Right.
Because it's easier for the newbie. That's how I really got into it. So
Well,
that's
this is
what's
good.
perfect.
This is good for newbies and even more experienced because every class might be a little different. Mine is about self and interpersonal healing, and in each meditation, you'll hear me, but there's also a quiet time for you to get into it, and then I try to
Yeah,
time it so that my voice kind of works with where you're at, and so people are giving me some real positive feedback about that as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So if you're interested, definitely go check out the link. I just wanted to share the comment that Ty made in the
Oh,
last in your last session, your mini retreat. And he said, and I'm going to paraphrase what he says here, but I think people need to hear it again. You might have heard me say this before. If you are a listener to all of these, you are giving us stuff. This is what he said in the meditation for self and interpersonal healing program that we never had as children. You're helping us open ourselves to our inner resources, something that our parents weren't able to teach us, right? So you're making,
it was well
you're
said. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
I love that.
it is. It is about like you said earlier, we're not trying to change anyone. There are inner resources. They get covered up by a lot of stuff, a lot of conditioned fear and limitation, negative beliefs, but it helps you access that part of you that is untouched by all that, that
Yeah.
is pure, if you want to call it free, unlimited, to be self-loving, loving others, open, courageous, and all that good stuff.
So the link is right down below. And let's dive into our third question today. And that is the other obstacle that you talk about that keeps people from being present is the wanting to control.
Yes.
And can you explain, how that stops us from
Mhm.
being present, how meditation can help us? And when we let go of that control, what happens as
Right.
part of that whole process?
Right. Well, we talk about letting go of wanting in general,
Hmm.
but the more you do these meditations where the intent is to let go of wanting to control, you start to realize how much we are always trying to control everything. And the truth is that we're not in control of much at all. We are, I mean, what we have control of is the choices we make, but we tend to try to control what's not in our control almost all the time, and it keeps us stressed. It keeps our cortisol up, and it kind of gets us in our own way. It's almost like trying to fight the current of life. So as we let go of wanting to control, is again that lack. If I want to
Yeah.
control, it's like I don't have control. And even though I just said we don't have control, in a sense, if we could align with just being present and
Hmm.
allowing my life to be as it is, in a way, you are in control. It's like I've never said it quite like this, but it's almost like you're employing the universe to work for you, with you and for you. And you're still have to make choices, right? I mean, I could choose to eat a lot of sugar, or I could eat, or not eat a lot of sugar. I could choose to exercise or not to exercise, meditate, not to meditate. So those are the kind of things that are in my control. But other than that, the outcome of even a meditation, let alone my body exercise, I'm not in control of that. If I exercise and I take care of myself and I meditate, the outcome's probably going to be pretty good, but I'm not controlling it. It just happens that way. So
Hmm.
when we let go of wanting to control, we're kind of just not wasting energy. We're
Yeah.
in the present moment making better choices because we're not trying to control what we can't control. So we're free, we're liberated to be in the moment, experience ourselves more fully, uh, letting go of our grasp of the world, which we don't have anyway. It's a false grasp, you know. We allow ourselves to be passengers in a way as we make the choices that help us get to a destination we want, but we're not driving.
We're in the
So
flow. We're
we're
more in
in
the
the
flow.
flow. I love it. We're in the flow. And so letting go of the want to control, where I allow myself to just have control in a sense by aligning with the flow, gives me the opportunity to feel wonderful, as
Yep.
well as to have more love, have more money, and all those things we want, but we don't have to try to control it. We
Yeah.
live our lives in the moment, present, and it's a great gift to ourselves. That's the old expression. When you're in the present, it's a present to yourself, right? And it is, because you're free from being wound up.
I think exactly. And I think it, when you get into that flow, when the little things show up, they don't bother. And maybe what used to be a big thing becomes, and I'm just saying this from my own experience, what I used to think was a big thing becomes a small thing, and
Yeah,
it doesn't bother me because I'm able
right.
to look at it from a different lens.
And it doesn't get in your way. You're not
No.
fighting against it. You're not trying to resist it, which is another form of control. When we
Mm,
resist the little, you're not resisting those little things that are annoying. It doesn't mean you like it, but you're not resisting it. You're going in the flow of it. And now you have your full energy and functionality to deal with these things as creatively as possible.
exactly. Love it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, so let's go on to our last question about how does becoming present help ourselves to heal? Especially if we've been touched with trauma, such as,
Mm,
infidelity, gaslighting, toxic relationships, any kind of
hmm.
trauma. And of course, like if you've been through any of those, it's scary
Hmm.
to, you want to not feel all of that. But how
Right.
does meditation and becoming more present, and we might not think that it's safe to be present because we're going to have to feel all that stuff, but let's talk about that because that's really like we're here to educate people that
Sure, sure.
that meditation is not the part of a great way to heal yourself after
Yes.
experiencing all
Right.
of that. It's
Right.
not the only way, but it's
No.
a beautiful complement to whatever you're
Yes.
doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there have been many very positive testimonies about meditation, how it has helped people heal from difficult, dark times and trauma, and that can happen on its own. I do
Hmm.
believe that the things I do, other than meditation, such as EMDR, can be a great help. What meditation does, though, um, and that's why it's also, and it's a standalone approach as well,
Uh-huh.
is it helps us access the part of us that is not harmed. It's like it's not all of us that's harmed. It's not all of me that's harmed by past pain, trauma experiences. There are parts of me that are, but
Right.
meditation helps me get to a deeper place. It helps me be more present to life as it is. And that part of me that is more present to life as it is free of that. And so when we live in that place, it gives us the energy. Now, I don't think I was just in an EMDR training, and I remember her saying that if you do anything to excess, it's a problem. And she mentioned even meditation, which I thought was interesting. And I didn't ask her about it because there wasn't much time. But
Hmm.
I can answer that. My question was, how would that be a problem? The only time it's a problem, because people could use anything to escape.
Of
So
course.
you could use spirituality, religion, meditation to escape, just like drugs, alcohol, or whatever. So it's not, none of this is a life bypass. You don't bypass life. What meditation does when you're not doing it in excess, which means that you're still engaging in life. You're facing issues. You're
Right.
you 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 you're being with people, you know.
Mhm.
I'll tangent that for a second with, I heard a story many years ago. This man, I think it was in a book I read. So this man has been meditating in the Himalayas for 25 years, all by himself. He felt totally self-actualized. It was really excellent. He's like, I need to go and be a model for those in the city. So he goes down from, into, whatever it is, Bombay or one of those really crowded cities in India. And within a few seconds, somebody just inadvertently elbows him in the ribs. He goes, "Hey, watch where you're going." He lost all his composure, right? So, so, but the meditations that we're talking about here is meditations where we do get some distance from the trauma. We do access the
Yes.
parts of us that are unlimited, that are healing, that are present, that is not living in a state of want. So that when we engage with life, we have more to bring it. We still face things. We process things. We go through life and we engage with other people. We deal with problems in life. Life is a series of problems to be solved, but we're doing it from a place of wholeness,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
not so split off, which is what happens when people get traumatized. They become over identified with being victims, and that's what stops them from healing.
Yes. I think the thing is that here's my take on it, is that it gives, when you're in the meditation, when you're in your brain and you're in your meditation, it gives you respite from all of those things and shows you that you don't, and I'm just thinking from my own perspective, shows me
Hmm.
that I don't have to carry it with me
Hmm.
all the time. And that's
No.
part of healing, whether or not it's from trauma, infidelity, all those things.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm just saying this because, I've been through, not in my present relationship, but in a prior relationship, infidelity. And I knew that if I was going to if I kept carrying that burden with me, I would never have what I have now.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing that people have, I would think, I know, is getting over the feeling like I'm a victim and carrying it with me 24/7.
Right.
And I believe
Right.
therapy and meditation
Hmm.
helps you see in a different perspective. But that's the
Yes.
key. You've got to find that respite, right? Because it's living as
Yeah.
a victim in the trauma and all that. That's
Yes. The
not
truth
what
is,
we
we're
want to
more than
live.
that. Yeah, we're
Right.
more than that. We're not denying it. We're not suppressing it. We're not running
Right.
away from it in the Himalayas, but we are more than that. And we could bring our moreness to our life issues as we help heal ourselves and let others help us heal from these
Yeah.
traumas.
Because it's easy to get stuck in being the victim, and nobody wants that for anybody to live the rest of their lives
No.
thinking I've had this happen. That's who I am. And
Right.
meditation lets us, build a new identity for ourselves.
We get more, I'll say it like, I like that.
Or
I would say it,
that
you
inner
get
identity, you're the
who you are.
clean. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
become more of who you deeply are beyond your mind and beyond all this reactivity. Yeah.
What happened? Yeah, you're just,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So that's excellent. So again, for those of you who are interested, we've got the link down below to Todd's meditation for self-healing and self and interpersonal healing program. So if
Mhm.
you are dealing with any of those things and you want to incorporate another healing modality, such as meditation, to help you on your journey, to help you see that, there is a part of you that you can access and you don't have to live that way, right? And I would definitely say check out Todd's program because it will really help you, even if you're working with a therapist or not working with a therapist, right?
Absolutely. Either way, do it.
All right.
You'll
All
like it.
right.
Hmm.
Well, that's it. Thank
You'll
you
love it.
so much, Todd. And we'll be back next month with another topic. And we also, and I'm going to put the link down this below, but Todd is also holding these monthly best self experiences. And I've got the link that down in the description down below in the notes. So for those of you that are curious about what this is, you can get on his list and get notified when he does that. And again, it's really more about drawing the correlation between meditation and self-healing, and if you've been through some different things in your life, how meditation can really help you. But this has been great, Todd, and I look
Yes.
forward to next month's topic, which is CBD, right? We haven't decided upon that, but I know it
We
will
will.
be something helpful. So,
Right.
all right. Thank you.